Well, we're gonna get this opened up. These are some cameras I've gotten to put on my large box trailer and my camper. We're going to do a little review and a little install. Well, let's get right into what we're really here to look at with the Haloview 7-inch 720p wireless mounting camera system. Okay. On top right, we have our camera, which is tucked away. Keep it pretty heavy. So there's our camera. We have a suction cup mount for the dashboard. I suspect some folks this would come in very handy. We have the plug-and-play wiring harness for the camera. And we have the giant LCD monitor. We have the two antennas, the big ones for the camera, the small ones for the monitor. We have our 12-volt cigarette lighter style with the on-off button built in. We have the plastic shroud for blocking the sun glare on the monitor. Fasteners for mounting things, an Allen wrench, and then in the bottom we have the bracket that you could use to mount it permanently to your dashboard if you wanted to. This is an unmarked box, so let's see what's in here. This is the suction cup mount from Haloview that I will be using. So this has a suction cup that mounts to your windshield. Alright, let's see what the heck is in this box. These are the side blinker cameras, so I can see into my huge blind spot on my big camper. So there's a left and a right side in the box. So here I have the Haloview MC7108 kit. This kit, in and of itself, will be very handy. However, Haloview also offers a side marker kit. So these cameras integrate seamlessly with this monitor. This monitor is designed to have multiple items displayed on the monitor at one time. You would be able to display all three items on the screen, and to be perfectly honest, it's a 7-inch LCD screen, and with where it would be mounted on the dashboard, I suspect having the three monitors on there would be perfectly fine for almost every application. So let's get to it. Let's go get this installed on my 28-foot camper. First thing we're going to do is install the side view camera or blinker camera. In order to do this, we're just going to pop this cover off. We need a flat tip screwdriver to do that. There's a little groove on the bottom. Cover comes right off. There's two self-tapping screws. You remove those. Most campers are built pretty similar to this, if not identically the same. So then we're going to pull the wires forward, and I'm able to reach underneath and get my wires to come forward. We'll go ahead and cut the wires off of the back of the existing light. And strip that wire back. I've determined that this is my hot lead, and the other line here is my neutral or ground. We've got our hot line. I've gone ahead and slid a piece of heat shrink tubing down the line. We're going to go ahead and install our heat shrink crimp connector. I like to slide them into the tool and then slide the wire into the back, which you guys can't really see very well. I apologize. Check for connection, which is good. Here's the camera. You can see the wiring here. The wiring comes labeled with two wires together, and you can see I have, well, this was a ground wire that was inside of this label. So the white and black wires are the ground wires, and then the large black and red wire are the hot wires. There we go. We got it in there. Alright, so we've got the shrunk part removed. Now we can slide our heat tube over the top of our wires. And we can shrink that. So that connection is now made and it's all good to go. We need to repeat the same process for our ground. Okay. So we've made both of those connections at this point, and those will just slide back inside of the camper. There's a little slot right on the top and just twist. Cover comes right off. The kit comes with self-tapping screws. Well, I've wrapped up the installation of the side view camera. This is for the right side of my camper, and it's really for my blind spot when I'm driving down the freeway primarily. It will also really help with backing the camper into camping spots that aren't pull-through sites. We will pair this once we get the other camera installed and the back camera installed. We'll do those all at the same time. We'll go through those steps momentarily. Well, we've moved on to the camera on the back of the camper. We need to get this removed and tap into the wires and see if we have connectivity. So we're gonna have to undo those, which will allow us to remove this wiring harness. Well, there's the old wiring harness. We have an almost identical setup for the new camera. Now that we've got the camera and the light removed to tie into the wiring, I've gone ahead and removed that wire that used to connect the old camera. I'm gonna get this all cleaned up, all the old gunk and debris off here, all the old silicone caulking. So we've gone ahead and removed the old camera, and now we have 5 holes we have to cover. It is what it is. I'm going to use an aluminum and some rivets, and I'm going to paint it to match the color of the camper. We'll reinstall the existing light here, and we're going to mount the actual camera up higher, up here. A couple of different things. One, it gives me a better view looking back. The other, it helps with the signal coming up over the top of the camper up to the cab of the truck. So I have a 3/4 inch hole saw. And I'll basically put the camera wiring right about here. I line up these holes. Use that much. I'll win the hole. Alright, got a drill. I need wires. I've gone ahead and fished a piece of coat hanger. This is a metal coat hanger. Up through the bottom and came out the hole where the wire is going to need to go down. So we're just going to tape this on the end of that and pull it down through the wall. Get rid of this. Now that we have all the wires and our light to one spot, we're going to go ahead and start making the connections. For these little tiny wires that come from the camera, I'm going to install a spade connector, and then on the group of wires that was originally installed, we're going to install a larger spade receiver connector. The beauty of this is you can take a very small wire and put a group of wires or a large wire together if the voltages all work out correctly. So we have our connection, so we have our light, 2 sets of wires, and we have these 2 small wires which come down from our camera, which is sitting on top of the trailer, which will be mounted here. We're basically going to put all this back in this hole, put the light back up, and I will build a cover plate for these lower set of holes where the old camera was located. With all that put back together, we're ready to go sync this with the truck, which means I've got to turn on the monitor and run back and forth real quick. So the monitor is on. What you're seeing is the left side view camera. This was the first camera that we installed, and it automatically paired as soon as I turned on the unit. In order to pair the camera we just installed, we have to go into settings, and we'll scroll down here to pair. So we'll just scroll right to pair, and then we're going to push OK. You'll see this countdown begin, and I have 19 seconds, basically 20 seconds, to run back to the camera, push the pair button, and then run back up here to the truck. Well, technically you don't have to run back to the truck. You have to run back and push the pair button on the camera. As you can see on the screen, the reverse camera has paired. We need to go into menu, over to mirror settings, okay. And then we're going to select, there we go, the camera setting we want specifically for that camera. And then we hit OK, and we can go back into menu. So let's run through some of the settings. This is the camera on the very back of the camper, and it is currently camera 4 in the monitor software. We paired it by selecting the camera 4 in the top left corner and going to menu, left down to pair,
and we hit OK. And then we had 20 seconds to run back and press the pairing button on the camera, and then it paired it to position 4. We did the same thing for camera 1 and camera 2. We selected the camera, the screen would have been black. We went to menu, we went to the left, we selected OK on pair, ran back to the camera, pushed the pairing button, and then it would mount pair to that camera position. I want to show you how we'll get all 3 cameras, in my case, on the screen at one time. So now that we have all 3 cameras paired, we will go to menu, we will go over to Q mode, we'll hit OK. These are the different selections for the different monitors. This is the reason I used camera 1, 2, and 4, because I wanted them to correspond to the numbers in the boxes. So in my case, I have 4 on the top, 1 and 2 as the side indicators, and it will be this selection. So I will go over to this one, and I will press OK. It takes me out to Q mode. I can go over to settings now, hit OK. We need to select Q mode and select camera. So we press our down arrow, we select select. We have camera 1, 2 currently on. We press OK to go to 2, it is currently on. We went to 3, it is currently deselected, which is good. 4 is our back camera, which is selected. And then Q mode. We need to select Q mode. Scan we do not want to use. And we're going to go back to menu and back to menu again. Now currently we're looking at camera 2, which is the right side indicator. If we press select, we're looking at camera 4, which is the back of the camper. We press it again, and it takes us to the setting for all 3 of the cameras. We have camera 4 on the top, camera 1 and camera 2 for the left side and the right side side indicators. And I want to show you where I'm going to put my monitor at. My monitor is mounted right here. It's actually suction cupped to the glass or plastic screen from the center console. Well, it's time to mount the camera. We're going to slide the rubber grommet down and get that installed where it belongs. So the camera mount is going to go right about here. You need to go ahead and get the bracket removed from the camera. We can let the camera dangle. Camera mounting bracket installed. So we don't have to fight this, I'm going to pre-drill that second hole. Before we attach this, we're going to put a bunch of silicone into the bolt hole and behind the bracket. So minus positioning of the camera in relation to what I can see in the truck, this is done. So we have got the trailer out here on the freeway for the first time for the road test. We've got the 3 cameras hooked up, the rear view camera and the 2 side blinker cameras. So the monitor for me is in a really good place. I'm able to utilize the gauges that are necessary for driving my truck and also have full view of the cameras at all times. And they are definitely working very, very well. This is a fantastic addition to our camper. Well, this is going to wrap this one up. We installed the cameras. That went really well. It's really straightforward install. We went for a test drive. We used it on the freeway, used it on the side streets. We backed up a little bit. The system overall is performing extremely well. I'm very, very pleased with it. This one met all my expectations. These side blinker cameras are really a great addition to the camper, and it just gives you that extra bit of confidence when you're driving on the freeway, and it's definitely going to come in super handy when you're backing into campsites and you're trying to get that camper just positioned in just the right place so that it works well for your hookups and to be able to utilize the campsite. Overall, the installation is very straightforward. You can get by with a pair of basic wire pliers and a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver. I really hope you guys got a lot out of this one. It's a very basic install, very straightforward, and it works incredibly well. Well, this is going to wrap this one up. Until next time, thanks for watching.